Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to do a little test. I'm going to play 18 holes here. On the front nine I'm going to do one test, and then I'll make another video that will be posted later that will be a second test. First test is going to be, does chewing gum improve your golf? So I'm on the first tee, no real warm-up, piece of gum. You know, I feel smarter already. Three iron, no warm up. Right out of the screws. So, this is not just some out of the blue strange test that I just came up with off the top of my head. Well, it kind of is. I kind of came up with the idea on my own, but then I found out that there is actually some research to back this up, and there's even a company now that is producing gum that is meant for golf. But the idea came to me from watching Tiger win last year's Masters, and I noticed that he was chewing gum like a fiend on course, and I thought, you know, Trevino used to just chop gum all the time, and I've noticed some other athletes that are constantly chewing on gum, like Michael Jordan, my favorite athlete of all time. And I thought, you know, maybe that helps some sort of anxiety or thought processes or brain function, something to that nature. And so I started to dig a little bit. .212 yards left into the green, 3 iron from the light rough, right at it. I think we're on the green. Okay, so I came up a little short. Fairways haven't been cut yet. It's dewy, second swing in the morning, but it was right at it, so I'm a little short. That's within 2 feet. Chewing gum didn't help me stay in the fairway on this one. It's a tight par 4. I hit driver off the tee. Let's see if it can help me out of the rough and onto the green. Maybe gum is not meant to help you with your long game or off the tee or even out of the fairway. Maybe it's meant to help you with your short game and your putting. Let's find out. Maybe not. So my initial thoughts with the chewing gum were fairly simple and just not really complicated. I felt like that anxiety from the pressure of competition or standing over, you know, sort of a difficult tee shot or a shot that you were just nervous about. I thought maybe that act of chewing would help with some of that anxiety and nervous tension, and that's probably a factor. But it turns out what it really does is engage the proper areas of your brain to get them firing so that you perform better. Yeah, there's a fairway. I'm no expert whatsoever on brain functions or peak performance or any of that stuff. So I'm having to rely on some of the information that I found on the Google to try and piece all this together. But what I really wanted to do was get out here and do an experiment in the real world to see how it works for amateurs who aren't in a tournament, who are just out in an everyday situation playing 18 holes like I am today. I got no idea how far I am. I'm a little blocked out. We're just going to lay up with a 5 iron. In the middle. A little pro tip. One piece of gum is not meant to last for hours. Bring multiple pieces. this green, but it took me 3 shots to get here. It happens. Got a lengthy putt here to try and save par. Normally, I'm just hoping to cozy this up, but with the gum, trying to make it. What do you know? The gum didn't make me a better putter. Okay, now I've played the first 4 holes with gum. I'm going to play the remaining 5 holes on this front side without gum. Long par 3, 198, 4-iron, gumless. Off the green to the left, which for a 200-yard par 3, not a bad leave at all. Okay, so I just hit a high draw bomb. Kind of rolls off the tongue. A high draw bomb. Anyway, I've got a long walk up here to my ball, because I'm pretty sure I just hit it about 417 yards on the fly. Just wanted to take a minute to kind of sum up what I think about the gum chewing on the golf course thing. Some people despise gum chewing because they think it's obnoxious, or because they constantly see people even chewing gum on the ground and people are stepping in it. And even if they're not stepping in it, if it's on a sidewalk or a street or a parking lot, and over time it builds up and it's just one giant stain all over the sidewalk. So I get that. And as far as this new golf gum, haven't tried it. I don't have any intentions of purchasing the golf gum and trying it, but if somebody gave me some, yeah, I'd try it. I don't really know what's in it. Maybe I'll list the ingredients on the screen right over here. Did it help me play any better? Did it help me score any better? No, I'm really not noticing a difference between the first half of this 9 holes and the second half of this 9 holes. Each person is different. So for somebody, chewing gum might make a huge difference. But for others, not so much. Matter of fact, I'll even change that a little bit. I think I'm striking the ball a little bit better without the gum. Man, I'll tell you what, some of these fairways, they are just sodden. We've had 2 straight weeks of rain here, so everything is just a swamp. It's on the green in regulation on this par 5, birdie putt. Well, that's a par. I'll take that. Okay, let's add up these scores from the front 9. Now, if you remember, the first 4 holes I played with chewing gum, and the last 5 holes I played without chewing gum. Okay, so the total score for the front 9 is a 41. That's not too bad. That's 5 over par. Honestly, I'm down to playing maybe twice a month, and I'm not getting to practice much at all for like the last month and a half. So I don't expect a whole lot. You can't do much when you only play once or twice a month and you don't practice. I hit 5 out of 7 fairways. I hit 2 out of 9 greens, which is pretty standard for me. And I had 15 putts, which again is kind of standard. Now on the first 4 holes, I hit 3 out of 4 fairways. The last 5 holes had 2 par 3s, they don't count, and I hit 2 out of 3 fairways. So my fairway accuracy was pretty close to the same. Really no dip, no improvement, same. For the greens in regulation, on the first 4 holes, I didn't hit a single green in regulation.
On the last 5 holes, I hit 2 out of 5. That's an improvement without chewing gum. So the chewing gum may have played a role as a hindrance, as a distraction for me, whereas with other people it engages the correct part of your brain. For me, maybe it distracts the wrong part of my brain. I don't know. First 4 holes, I had 7 putts. Last 5 holes, I had 8 putts. First hole was a par, second hole was a double, third hole was a bogey, fourth hole was a bogey. So I played the first 4 holes at 4 over par. Next 5 holes, par 3, 2 pars, a par 5, so that's 3 pars in a row, a par 4 that I made a 4 on, that's 4 pars in a row, and then a 5 on a par 4, so it's a bogey. So the last 5 holes I played at 1 over. That's a definite improvement. Some of that could be chalked up to the fact that I didn't have any warm-up really before I started my round, and it took some time to get used to it, but still the numbers are better. And this could probably go a lot better if you did more tests. Maybe it's something you got to get used to. Maybe I should have swapped them. Maybe I should have played without gum first and then played gum in the second half. It wasn't a perfect test, but I really didn't feel any different. Honestly, I felt like the gum was kind of a chore, a distraction. Didn't really help me. I wanted to stay focused. So there you go. The number one thing I've got to work on, the biggest thing I've got to work on is when I am 150 yards out, anywhere up to, say, about 100 yards. So that 100 to 150 yard range, which for me would be anywhere from a 54 degree back to, let's say, a 7 iron. That range, if you hit a fairway and you end up with that yardage and you've got a pretty standard stock shot into the green that is 125, 150 yards, you're not going to hit the green every time. Especially with some of the courses that I play being older courses, the greens are smaller. Modern courses, greens tend to be bigger. Vintage older courses like this one that was built in 1915, greens tend to be smaller. So I've got that as an excuse. I could say that. But from 125 to 150, you should be hitting at least, I would say, half of those greens. If you're 125 yards out, you should probably be able to hit the green, I would say 7 out of 10 times, to be able to consider yourself any sort of slightly skilled golfer. And I'm just not doing that. And I haven't been doing that for well over a year. It's just it could be a mental thing maybe, but normally my misses are a little short or a little right. That's where I tend to miss. But now that my swing is changing a little bit, I'm actually getting some misses to the left a little bit. But some of this could come down to just the way I'm lining up and just I'm aiming. The way I'm aiming, maybe it's not so much what I'm doing technically or mechanically with my swing. Maybe I'm just not aimed correctly. And I know that anybody who's familiar with the Jim Venetto's system, you're always aiming off to the right with your foot line. But that's really not aiming right in that system. But it looks like, compared to conventional golf, you're aiming off to the right. But I'm trying to work myself to where I'm trying to aim in retrospect. And I know that sounds almost like just a complete conundrum, because it's like, how can you aim after you've already fired? You aim, then you fire. But my aim should come from my fires, my shots. So that's kind of how I'm trying to go about lining myself up, and it's a learning process. But in general, I believe that's why I miss most of the greens that I do. Not every time. Sometimes it's just bad contact. Sometimes I just block it. Sometimes I pull it. Sometimes I don't catch all of it. That's normal. But I think a lot of times it comes down to I'm just not aimed in the correct place, either in my mind or with my body. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Share the videos around. Leave me some comments. Give me the thumbs up. Support the channel. So I appreciate it. Thanks for all the support. I'll see you guys next time.